Everybody, welcome to Leon's Chainsaw Parts and Repair. Happy Friday night. So we're looking at one of Kelly's McCullochs. Yeah, I said that dirty word, McCulloch. Haven't had one in the shop for a while. So this is a Power Mac 320. 310's probably more common. Not a huge difference between them. This one, however, is the Auto Sharp version. So that's a grinding stone, and check out that chain. Now you can still buy this chain. It's from Oregon, and they had a whole bunch of bars that they produced and chains for. And there was a lot of the Poulons, a lot of the big box store saws. Somebody will be upset with me, but the throwaways, the ones you can't find parts for. Anyway, they made a whole line of those, so this chain is back available again. So, initially when I was chatting back and forth on this one, I'm like, man, we just need to get that off of there. This saw is too clean. I mean, I haven't cleaned it up and polished it. I generally, unless the customer requests that, I'm not going to go to all that kind of trouble, because, I mean, why pay me when you can, clean all that up? But I've hosed it out, I've had it running, and I'm just looking at it going, this is a piece of history. And I know the saw has sentimental value too, so at this point, personally, I'd leave it alone. Now, we're going to sharpen it here in a second when we do the test run. But I want to go through the weak link of these saws first. And that would be that carburetor box cover. So here's the other pieces to it. In the damn baggie here. So that piece of plastic gets brittle over time, and I'm not going to pretend to know exactly why it breaks, but seeing as how the fast idle button is here, and you got to pull the trigger, push the button down, release the trigger, I'm guessing it's guys pushing too hard on the button and this plastic just gets old and brittle. Those things are super hard to find. Now, I got lucky, went out on eBay, and there happened to be a used one, a good used one floating around, so it's on its way here. It's going to seal this up. Later model 310s, and I think the 355, 365, and 375, and then the Mac Cats. They had a Mac Cat 2.3 that, I mean, they called so damn many saws Mac Cats, but there was a version of this body style that was a Mac Cat. They created a molded airbox. So this cover was actually part of this airbox that slips in behind here. Now, I cannot honestly remember what else had to change in order to accommodate that. Clearly, this fan housing had to be different. So if a person wants to do that conversion, you can. You're just going to have to swap your decals over if you care about them, and to get a starter that matches that. But anyway, enough of that babbling. I'm not a McCulloch expert, but I've worked on enough of these to, know a few of those quirks. One more. Throttle cables. For this style handle, super hard to find, and the few guys on eBay that have them from time to time like to price them according to their scarcity. You guys know where I'm going with that. So this one has a couple cracks in that plastic cable housing. It gets brittle, it's going to break. But as long as it actuates, it's fine. So what I did is I took this apart, reset the trigger spring, lubed that cable up, and then it was kind of bent down here at the carb linkage, and it was sticking. It wouldn't actually return to idle every time. In fact, it just did it to me right there. Popped right out of the groove. So I'm gonna have to bend that tang down just a little bit more. But there we go. There we go. If I don't touch it, it'll be fine. Anyway, a few of the quirks. So let's fire it up. You guys hear it run, and then I'm gonna sharpen the chain. Play games with me. That's interesting. I've had it running a number of times now, and it hasn't given me grief like that. Interesting. Oh. I had to take the carburetor loose, and I didn't think any of the hose connections, I unscrewed it, but I didn't think any of the hose connections had come loose. But by God, the pulse hose here. So what was actually actuating that carb? I haven't got the foggiest idea. That is hilarious. Okay, I'm going to get that resolved, and then we'll come back and do a proper test run. Okay, this will probably look or work a lot better. Okay, that chain was really jacked up, plus I had to change I probably had the wheel clocked slightly differently than it was before, but now you can see what those teeth are supposed to look like when they're sharp. It's a completely different style of cutting. I know it works. HomeLight made one model with this type of stuff. It was the 190, so it was a Super 2 that had a grinding wheel like this, same type of change setup. What they did differently, the only difference between it and a Super 2 was they upsized to a 5/16 bar stud, and the rest of it's the same saw. So anyhow, there you go, a good running PowerMac 320 with the original Auto Sharp. All it's waiting for is for that cover to arrive. Now when it does, I will attempt, and this is going to sound stupid, but these are hard to find, I'm going to attempt to super glue this. I have found either Duro or Gorilla actually holds these old plastic parts pretty well. Now you can't get, well, mega rough with them, but if you can't find one, you do what you've got to do. The other saw that's sitting out there waiting for repair, it's not even in this good a shape. See, this one, it's a stroke of luck the way it broke. You can see there's still enough there to hold the choke rod in, but having this open like this completely defeats the air filter. That has to be covered all the way back. so it'll draw air through the filter. Otherwise it's going to draw crap in up here. So you got to do something with this, and a lot of guys have pitched these. Now, I've never paid attention to these up close. Like I said, I don't work on that many. That's something a guy could make. You could take a piece of 16ths, maybe, I think 1/8 inch might be a little too big, but whatever. You could take a piece of metal, and all you'd have to do is cut it in this shape, drill your holes in the right spot, and set it to tuck under here. There's something a guy could do with this. So anyway, if you break one, don't lose the pieces. Try to make yourself, either glue it or make yourself a new one there, a piece of metal. But anyway, 1 320 down, 1 to go, plus an eager beaver.